Sentinel throughout the entire game was, and in the beginning I agree, he was justified, but he was just a dick throughout the entire game. And it's hard to like a protagonist who doesn't grow and he's just an asshole for the whole game.
Well, good.
Everybody else had growth, but Sentinel was just an asshole. Period.
Well, good news. The start stream button works again.
Okay, that's good.
Seribot is here. Dun, dun, dun.
But at the same time, if Sentinel had been more forthcoming with information as well, with everything going on with Shirley, then everything probably wouldn't have gone nearly as badly as it did. So, Sentinel did have some growth, but he's just unlikable from pretty much beginning to end of that game. At least that's the way that I viewed him. I feel that Chloe and like all the supporting cast definitely helped, but maybe that was just me. Because I liked Chloe, but first chance I got, I rotated Sentinel out of the party. I think my party was Chloe, Will, Norma, and then my fourth slot was kind of Phil until I got Groon, and then she has access to dark magic, and
oh boy, dark magic.
I think I haven't played Hearts, but I think that was the last instance where we actually had access to Extend.
Extend.
Very high tier dark / colorless magic.
Hot damn.
Imagine kind of like in substantiality, I think if you want a comparison, not quite as coverage, because Legendia was a side-scroller.
Oh.
He's hard time showing emotion. It's true, but the fact that he doesn't even try for so much of the game when all he needed to do, because it's clear that Chloe wants to help him. Will is reluctant at first because he doesn't trust him, justifiably so. But Norma's trying, Jay knows all about him, and he's not really willing to work with anybody. Shows that you're back in Parsec, T.
Yep. It's a me. Also, share chat. For some reason, I reloaded the share chat window. It says I'm still in there. I see you in the shared chat window, but then it's like, oh, nothing's happening.
But that's a character that Jay is playing, though. He's an information broker, but he what was it?
Information.
Oh, there we go. Start sharing. There we go.
Share chat is on.
And I didn't really like Moses' playstyle, but I did kind of feel bad with how much they bullied him in the game. He was a bad guy to begin with, but I think they kind of went a little bit overboard on how they treated him. Because in all honesty, he's kind of a cinnamon roll, even though he's a bandit. But Legendia had the same issue that Symphonia kind of did, is that there were just too many characters in the roster, and I think Hearts also has like a massive roster as well. And when you're limited to 4 characters, certain characters get outshined.
I wish I had power like that.
I'd forget about it if I were you.
There's me. Shami Otto.
Because Symphonia 2 also had that problem where it brought all of the original cast back, and then it threw 2 additional characters at you, and then you had to play Monster Hunter or Pokemon as well.
Look, if I wanted to play Pokemon, I just play Pokemon.
Exactly.
Or nowadays, I'd play Power World.
Game.
Funny enough,
I had Tails game to play Pokemon.
Funny enough, I haven't even played Power World. I don't even know if it's on my wish list or not.
Well, the thing with the older games is, just like what they did with Persona 4, or Persona 3, is they ended up passing it off to a new cast of characters. And I'm pretty sure that Bandai Namco would probably do that as well, if I had to guess. Although I'm not nearly as versed with, like, current voice actors, so I'm not sure if there are people that could fill the role of some of these older characters appropriately.
I play with Japanese voices. I really don't have that problem.
Well, at the same time, I still think that, like, the English voice cast is still good in some of the games. Because there are times where I definitely do prefer the sub over the dub, but...
Ow.
Spinel's voice actor is MIA, as is Chloe's. Okay. Did they... Have they just, like, disappeared? Or are they just not voice acting anymore? Because I'll admit, I am not nearly as versed in Legendia as I am other games. They don't voice act? Oh, okay. I'm much more... Well, not really in terms of actors, but in terms of, like, the game itself. Symphonia, Berseria, Abyss, Berseria, Arise, Graces are the ones that I know a little bit better, or know considerably better. Eternia, Destiny, Destiny 2, Hearts are the ones that I do not know, because I haven't actually played them. T Grant... Oh, God. The skill's nice, but that is a massive decrease to physical. Jay is still going since he recently reprised his role as Hubert. Okay. Well, they didn't do a whole lot of, like, technical updates to Graces, though. It was just a lot of quality of life things.
Ooh, it's a biggie. Is it her or is it just me?
Eat it! Up! Die!
Ready?
I do appreciate that Bandai Namco didn't charge $70 for it, though. I think that was a good decision. There were a few new skits and lines.
Come on, really?
Did you get through the bonus dungeon in Grace's Sky? Did you fight Solomus and the 3 dragons?
You're strong, but I'm stronger. Tremble and shake!
Flame Beast. Flame Beast.
The light of my conviction will pierce even the heavens to strike you down, Gunmere Twister! Fate, present land! Torment! Rising dragon! Pierce!
Wow.
Ah, shit.
What happened there?
I got jumped on. Yeah, the other problem that Legendia, or not Legendia, that Grace's Super Dungeon had is that you had to do an obscene amount of grinding to get your items up to a specific level, and then you had to offer that item up to the specific floor, and if you lost, that item just was gone.
That's
Did they change that
bullshit.
in the remake? Yeah, it hurt. Partly did? Okay. That's good. Because I think for the final floor in the original, you had to have an item that was worth, I believe, 300,000 gil, and that took a crazy amount of grinding to get up to.
Don't you mean gold?
Or yeah,
Gil is
the
Final
money blends
Fantasy.
together. The money blends together.
I wish the money blended together for me.
Looks like you're gonna be Crimson Servant!
I don't know. Never went into it in the remake. Oh, okay. There was also a challenge mode in the PS3 version where you could fight specific enemies with your party just by jumping into it, like in the main menu. And one of the challenges was the 3 sages and Solomus at the same time.
Now, why on earth would you do that?
It was an option. It was added in the, I think, the Wii version, or the Japanese version. But the sages are basically super dragons, and then Solomus is the king of all dragons in a humanoid form. So you're basically fighting 4 super bosses at the same time. If you need to call it, Teed, you can. I don't want you to push yourself too hard if you're feeling sick.
Let's try to get to midnight, then I'll call it.
Okay. By the time I finished Grace's base game, I was burnt out. Yeah, I can kind of agree with that. Did you end up doing the DLC, or the 6 months later DLC? Or did you just finish the base game?
6 months later.
Mm-hmm. They had a deal that I think that was the first Tales game that had paid DLC outside of cosmetics,
We will need to be extremely
where they sold you the ending of the story.
That's
Yep.
kind of scummy.
Technically, you didn't need to. It was just a post-story thing, because you got the conclusion, but the ending of Grace's is a little bit lackluster. They utilized the power of friendship to save the villain. And then they convinced the big bad guy to be a good guy. If I'm remembering correctly. Which, you know my stance on that.
Yeah. Listen, I'm a mass hero of justice, and even I think some bad guys just need to be put down.
Have you played Grace's T?
I think I played like through the prologue where it's like they're little kids.
Did you think you could escape
Okay.
me?
And then I got to the point where Asbel has grown up. And then I had to leave the house.
Okay. Well, then I won't spoil it completely, but if we end up playing that one next. I think that there are some good things in Grace's, but the story is it's pretty basic.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with the basic story. It's just, was it executed well? Okay.
Kind of.
Okay, your reaction tells me everything.
Asbel, the biggest problem I have with him, he's not nearly as bad as Saray, because Asbel came out beforehand, but I feel like Saray is a downgraded version of Asbel. But he kind of hits his plateau pretty early in the game, if I'm remembering correctly. Where he's just got basically a single track mind, and that's pretty much the extent of his character. Good luck with a few fights. Oh, the burrowing pig of doom is one that comes to mind. I think the final boss of Act 2 is also, unless they balanced it in the remake, with the enemy that has the area of effect field that basically puts you in stun lock if you get close to her. That one was atrociously bad.
The light of my conviction will pierce even the heavens.
Those are the only two that immediately come to mind. Okay, so, okay. You know exactly what I'm talking about, don't you, Sky? That fight is an absolute nightmare. And I'm guessing they didn't rebalance it for the remake.
Easy victory. I am invincible.
I cannot wait until... Oh, so they didn't change her at all. Ugh.
Are we ready for this?
Tremble and shake!
Oh, and Ultimate on hard? Oof. Yeah. That was another instance of, for the most part, the PlayStation games, from what I remember, were balanced, and didn't feel like genuinely unfair, but oh my god, that fight was so unforgivingly bad.
A complete victory.
I don't remember if you used like all casters, was it better? But I believe, if I remember correctly, she teleports all over the field and is constantly interrupting all your casters too.
That's that sounds like a nightmare.
Okay, so they did keep. So I am remembering that part correctly. Ugh.
Yeah, the reason I asked about the story is because I have no problems with a simple story, so long as it is executed well. See, for example, Devil May Cry 3. It is a simple 3-act structure of the hero's journey, but it's done so masterfully well.
How do I word this? Legendia does, or sorry, not Legendia. Graces does have like the supporting characters really do a good job of telling the narrative and kind of like moving things forward. But I might be remembering incorrectly. And Sky, if I am remembering this wrong, I had to not only use an All the Divide, but I was forced to use Hubert. Hubert's actually really good though. I don't think that there's a character in Graces that isn't like that isn't well balanced. But Asbel he's kind of more along for the ride. He has a clear goal, but you're basically seeing the growth of all the other characters once he plateaus. And that's part of the reason, but like the rest of the journey, Asbel is technically the lead, but it feels like Sophie's kind of the main character.
There are none who can resist my spear.
What the hell?
It's a biggie.
We just clipped through him. I don't remember if at that point you have access to Endless Waltz, but I know that move like makes Asbel a god, because it gives him invincibility frames, and I think it's like a 18 hit combo for a single art. Because I know one of the strategies for Solomus and like the late game bosses is you just have the AI Asbel spam Endless Waltz. Or is it her? It's Endless Waltz or like the Phantom ability, where you get like 4 Phantoms of Asbel that all converge on the enemy. I know that's like arguably his best move in the game, but I'm probably misremembering. Oh yeah, Phantom Pulse.
Ready to die? I'm not done with you yet. Here's something for you.
Because unless they change it, it gives him super armor for the entirety of it, and he's unhittable for the initial parts of it.
Far away.
You're telling me he has a move named after the Gundam Wing movie?
Or it's Phantom Pulse, not Endless Waltz. Luger's the one who has Endless Waltz.
Still, a character has an art named after the Gundam Wing movie.
Indeed, he does. It's one of his later moves, but I remember it being absolutely absurdly broken.
Stop fooling around.
But I'm serious about my fooling around.
Yeah, I think it's like one of his last arts, if not his last art, that he gets. But he splits into 4 phantoms and then drops down and attacks the enemy from all sides. And then does a series of kicks upwards.
That
I believe so.
sounds cool.
We will need to be
All of the
extremely
visuals in Graces are very well done. Like, all the spells are very, very nice to look at. The amount of screen pollution at times is kind of overwhelming. I missed it again.
Form 0!
Crimson Sword,
Aurora Lotus.
Yes. Yeah, Aura Lotus. That move is so broken.
Yay.
But on like higher tier difficulties, when people aren't playing Asbel, I just have them. I've seen them just set Asbel to just use that move over and over and over again, and it locks the enemy down really hard.
Come on, put up some fight, okay?
I think Asbel's like his total kit it's pretty solid. Sharia as a healer is okay. There have been better healers, but she does her job well. She has a unique style of using healing arts and throwing knives. Sophie's the pugilist, and if I had to guess, Jack will probably play, or would want to play her, because she is just the run in, beat things down to death character. Hubert's considerably more technical because he utilizes a twin partisan, or a twin blade and guns. I know for a fact that Prisma will want to be Pascal, and she uses a long staff that turns into a rifle. And then Malik has the boomerang and is a caster. And then there's technically one more party member,
Technically.
but you only gain access to him for a short period of time, and then in the DLC. Does Sophie have Resurrection, Sky? Or am I misremembering? Okay, she does. Okay. And then, I don't think Auto Life is in Graces. Although, that's another spell I would love to come back. I miss Auto Life. But I think the last time we actually had it was Vesperia. Rejuvenation, I think. But then again, with like the Draco, I've seen people do solo fights on the highest difficulty with specific characters. They've grinded to an insane level where their fell arms are able to do like 1 million damage per attack.
Yeah,
So- At that point, I don't really think that you're playing the game. You've already completely annihilated it.
yeah.
But I've seen compilation videos of people killing the Draco on the highest difficulty in like 20 seconds.
Ooh, it's a biggie.
Oh, I didn't have enough.
I won't miss! Form Zero! Thunder!
That was short.
The light of my conviction will pierce even the heavens.
Auto life is a spell. I thought it may have been Sherry's second mystic art, but no. Okay. Stop using kamikaze.
I'll cut down anyone in my way.
I like how the hill is slanted, so they have to stand on the slanted hill.
And then everybody has 3 mystics and graces, but I don't think there's any joint mystics. I think that was first introduced in 4 mystics?
Damn, that's a lot of mystics.
Okay, it has been a while since I played graces. Oh, okay. Is the 4th mystic only in the DLC?
Oh.
Because technically the 7th party member isn't... You don't really see his fist or his... anything outside of his first mystic until the DLC.
3.
Ooh, that hit's a biggie!
I enter the fray. Shooting star! Shooting star! Blue! Shooting star!
I don't know. In graces... I don't know. You might enjoy Hubert T. I could also see you enjoying Asbel or Malik.
I won't improve by fighting weaklings.
Rokuro. They're like 20 levels above us.
We're still tearing through them pretty quickly, though. Because of either a bug or an Easter egg, she has a 5th mystic art. I'm sure when I see them again, I'll remember. But when was the last time I played Graces?
I mean,
It's
I
been
won't
like
say
6-7 years.
I won't say no to more mystics.
We will need to be extremely wary.
Killing flash! But I'm this close. I won't miss! Form 0! Thunder! One down.
It looks like no one is injured.
We cleared the field?
That means we go up to the second layer.
Yep.
The fact that there's a second layer is wild.
I'm just thrilled that we didn't end up having to go through the entirety of Hexen Island. And we're just stuck in that initial part, thankfully, for 4 or 5. Oh, there's one more dragon. Because having to go through the different steps... I still have flashbacks for suffering in Zestiria. You think that this secret dungeon's bad? The one in Zestiria is 100 times worse.
Strike you down, Gunmere! Twister!
I enter the fray. Shooting star!
Come on, really?
It's a test of patience. It's...
Well, everything's a test of
there's-
patience.
Yeah, but in terms of like unfairness, imagine the casters in Zestiria, they're a lot more aggressive and they're casting higher tier spells at a faster rate.
That's...
I believe I'm remembering that correctly.
Oh boy.
But then again, I was also putting myself through the blender because I was playing it on Infernal. So, on the lower difficulties, it might be a little bit more balanced, but... Do they cast way faster? Okay. I'll take your word for it on that one. I know this game a lot better, but I've only played through Zestiria once. That was all I could stomach.
He played through it once. And only once.
I wanted to go back and try it again, but... the narrative is just so meh. Chaos Inome, not Laffy said go insubstantiality.
You're strong, but I'm stronger. You're wide open. Die or be killed. Eat it. Crush her.
Ready, steady, and dynamo!
Eat it.
Spinning moon!
Crush her.
Infernal sword! Stay spinning moon! Perfect!
I also wouldn't mind if they ended up bringing Crestoria as the next mainline entry. They'd have to change some stuff because it was a crossover game, or a gacha crossover game, but the main narrative was there. They had a lot of plenty like unique characters. And if they wanted to, they could probably go even darker with that game in a full
The light of my conviction!
game as opposed to even this game, in terms of how dark it got.
Okay, that's a big claim.
You too.
I still don't know if it's going to end up happening because there is a manga for it, but basically in the first chapter, the main protagonist has to prevent a slave trade of his best friend being sold off as a sex slave, and then he has to murder his father who's responsible for the ring. And that's just the first chapter.
We will need to be extremely wary.
I need to switch to Magilu or we might die here.
Dio Rumble.
Divine conviction! Crossfire!
I need another soul though. It's not going to give it to me though, is it? Give me a soul, give me a soul, give me a soul. Oh no.
Ow, stupid voids. What
Yes.
the fuck?
Yep, that's the chain juggle from... Okay, I might have to do it this way instead. Oh, Velvet doesn't have souls.
Uh-oh. Spaghetti-os.
Yeah, we're gonna get wiped.
That's a good time to call it.
Alrighty. Close.
Yep. I'm gonna follow Prisma's advice, get some fruit juice, some cough syrup.
Alrighty. Well, thank you for joining in. I'm glad that we made some decent progress tonight. I'll see what I can do since we've got 2 weeks. I'm optimistic that I can maybe get us to 130/135, but tomorrow's the last day of my vacation, so
Ah,
I'll see what I can do.
alright. That'll do it.
Alrighty. Well, I hope you have a good trip, and hope you recover soon.
Yeah, me too.
Hopefully it doesn't end up progressing into anything worse, but I know sometimes it lies dormant after a con and then it hits you really hard.
I hate it. I hate it so much. It's like, it's just the cough. It's like no fever. Nothing else. It's just the cough and maybe a stuffy nose. No loss of appetite either. I still want to eat. Oh, we're getting.
Has it been raining a lot?
Raining? Not really.
Okay, I was wondering if it was like allergy induced as well. Is it possibly kicking up all the pollen in the air? But I don't know how bad the seasonal changes are for you up in Canada.
Oh. Yeah, now that you mention it, like, if the weather fluctuates temperature-wise way too much, then yeah, I get sick from that too.
Okay, but I wonder if it's like a sinus infection or something. Hopefully not. Oh, that's really tempting to hold on to, but that's only 10%. I think I'd rather have the stun duration by 1.5. 25% wind attack on Magilu, who doesn't have a single wind art. Thanks, game. You couldn't have given that to Eisen, or Velvet, or T. The game just does not want to cooperate.
Nope. Sure doesn't.
Play sight. Scene focus isn't bad. Although I doubt I'll be coming back to these things. I'm not going to upgrade every weapon to its maximum capacity. I'm not that much of a masochist.
I don't know.
That would require probably at least 150 to 200 hours of additional grinding.
That's... I would not wish that upon anyone. Because like the Linkin Park song says, time is a valuable thing.
I don't regret grinding for games, especially to help alleviate some of the burdens, but I wish it felt like there was more of an impact like it was with Vesperia, because even with the minor stat buffs we're getting now, and we've almost got all the equipment we can get. So the stat increases will come from augmenting equipment. But even then, grinding for skills rather than stats. Yeah, it's more reminiscent of like other like Final Fantasy, like older Final Fantasy games. But once you have everything mastered,
yeah, well, there's no more
pumping a
arts
whole
for
bunch
us.
of-
We've learned all the arts. There's nothing left.
yeah. Well, we maxed out our arts like really early.
Yeah, in like the 60s,
think-
70s.
Yeah. And since there's no like high tier, well,
Nothing.
I understand them trying to like make everybody relatively balanced, but I think that Eleanor should have had access to some slightly stronger magic. Because you have one of every spell, but so does Laffy.
Yeah.
But you have much better physical as opposed to his physical, which is
Abysmal.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
His stun potential is very, very bad. Holy crap. The other thing that would be really nice is if you could like spend some extra funding to try to get specific upgrades or stat effects on specific weapons, but it's all randomized, and once you have the pool maxed out, it is really hard to get what you want / need. Holy crit, 25%. That one's tough. Jack utilizes Earth, but 25 reflect. Yeah, I think just once again, they put a lot of extra stuff into this game, and I applaud them for trying new stuff, but it just feels a little bit bloated. I blame Borderlands for randomized stats. Was that the first game, though? I mean, there have been other games with randomized loot. Right? Borderlands wasn't the first. Holy crap, that's actually surprisingly good. 20% against fiends? I guess the other positive after selling off all this stuff is that we'll be able to restock on our elixirs. Mostly.
Mostly.
Lifelong. But this is one of the statistics that I don't understand. There's the highest one that you can get is if you're below 32% health, you get that buff. But in a game where anything can one-shot you above certain thresholds, why would you want to be at low statistics? Those are the stats that I don't understand why they put into this game. Unless you are able to perfect dodge everything at any given situation, but even then, I think that's still stretching it.
That's crazy.
Unnamed. Self. Oh, right, 25 reflection. Get rid of all of this. %, chance to revive. Yeah, well, probably switch that one out. Damage taken reduced by 45. I think it isn't the first. It was the one that made it mainstream. Yeah. Although Borderlands is not really in a good spot right now. Well, okay, Borderlands might be fine. It's just I think it's Neil Druckmann.
Or Randy Pitchford.
Or yeah, Randy Pitchford. Only real fans. If you're a real fan, you'll spend $80 on our game. Way to piss off and alienate your fan base.
Because that's worked so well in the past.
Effect reduced.
Incoming controversial opinion. We need a second video game crash.
I think that we don't need a complete video game crash. We just need specific companies to crash. Because there are some companies and like indie developers that are still doing a good job.
Yeah, we need a we need a AAA crash.
For the most part, that wouldn't be it would still be a bad thing.
I have a backlog. I can keep myself busy.
And there's plenty of indie like titles and whatnot that would help, but I think that there are still some developers that are doing a good job that are still AAA publishers.
It's like, I'm just thinking of that like one clip from Good Burger, like "fuck you" to like Ubisoft, "fuck you" ActiBliz, "fuck you" EA, "fuck you" BioWare, "fuck you" Quantic Dream. Points to RGG Studios, you're cool.
Capcom's been making some slightly questionable things, but I still think they're on a good track comparatively to where they were 10 years ago. But a lot of the industry right now is, I think, experiencing the massive fallout that Capcom experienced a decade ago, when they were pretty much circling the drain. I mean, maybe if people got paid a similar income to the old times. Well, if you go back and look at it during the era of, I believe it was the Genesis, the Super Nintendo, and the not the 60, or yeah, the 64 too. Games back then were $80. And there was a lot less on them at that point. So we're kind of regressing, unfortunately. But I've said this before, I would much rather have like visuals stop or regress and have them focus on kind of like good plots and good gameplay. But a lot of AAA developers are just pumping out the same swill over and over and over again.
This is what we mean by I want to play shorter games with worse graphics made by people who are paid more to work less, and I'm not even kidding. Because a big problem is like feature creep, feature bloat, budget bloat, too much money going to like marketing and shit, piss poor planning, piss poor project management.
The other side of it too is if games increasing to 80 and the money's actually going to the developers and the people making the games, I'd be fine with that, but it's probably not.
It's going to the CEOs and
Yep.
the shareholders and the
lead
board of
publisher,
directors.
yep. And that's where I'm going to be drawing the line.
Oh.
Oh, nice. We hit 200 million.
200 million total? Yeah, 200 million total.
Total.
Because I'm looking at the counters like, that don't look like 200 million. I would know, because my job requires me to be good at math. Which
This is another ability I'd love to get on everything. All damage reduced by 70, just flat 70. That would help. But that one's exceedingly rare. And I think there's actually one above that that goes to 120. Or if we could get the equipment 50% revival chance on everybody's equipment so that they're guaranteed at least one revive per fight.
that's
Alas.
But alas.
63,000. What the hell? Oh, 40 focus. Oh my god. That is insane. I think that's the highest one that I've seen this run.
Dude.
Elise.
Ah, controller turned off. Oh well.
50. 18% chance for revival. I think this is what we got from Turtles. Shame it's only worth 5,500, but let's see here.
Damn shame.
No, we still can't restock.
How many can we get?
4.
I feel like I need to apologize for my semi-liberal use of the elixirs this stream.
It's fine. They show up in the dungeon.
If I had known how much they actually cost compared to how much money we actually make, I probably wouldn't have done that. That was my bad.
Oh, it doesn't matter. I'll get more when I'm in the dungeon and whatnot. In the earlier levels, they cost 786,000 until you get the price reduction. Scaling in this game is just crazy. And I had forgotten that the hourglass is ineffective against enemies level 20 levels higher than you. So that's
wow.
Kind of sucks.
This is
Drop
useless.
bottles are also kind of worthless because it's only for one battle.
One battle and one battle only.
Arcane. Yes, we never really run out of burst gauge. The soul bottles are nice, but they're also exceedingly rare too. Don't need that. No, they don't stack with each other, Sky. It specifically says it will not increase the effect.
Hot damn. There goes that plan.
Although even then, the best place to like pop them would be if you're fighting the Lindworm, because I think he's the one who gives you the most money, and that averages out to be about 120,000, I think. They took something away from Zestiria that was better? Damn.
Impossible.
Okay.
Don't forget to save.
Oh, I won't forget.
It would sure suck to do all of that and you forgot to save.
I mean, I did spend one day grinding for 6 hours, and then I got kicked out of the dungeon and went to go do something else, and I got killed in the field, so I lost all that progress.
That's... that sucks. But also, why did you not pause the game so that wouldn't happen?
Because I went back to an area where I shouldn't have died. It wasn't a link encounter, but a super boss spawned on me, and everybody was grouped up, and he just one-shot everybody.
Oh.
Dark bottles are a double-edged sword at times. Alright. We've got Jude and Mila, the Heavenly Steps.
Were you aware that that possibility was there?
There's always a possibility that they will spawn, but it hadn't happened in an exceedingly long time. But that's the thing with these older RPGs. Sometimes you just get some of the worst RNG with an enemy spawn, and you're just dead. I've had grinding sessions in Vesperia before, where I went for like 8+ hours in like one of the super dungeons, and you can't save. And then I've had the game crash.
Okay, well that one is definitely out of your control.
But it still hits the same.
It still hurts. Oh.
Oh, there it is. Oops. Alright. Well, since we've got 2 weeks, like I said, I will try to see what I can do. Although, even if I hit like the one, I might have to see if I can't get some of the rarer equipment off of those monsters we couldn't kill. I might just have to, like, force Velvet into Therian and hopefully gridlock everything down. Yeah, Memory Labyrinth.
Necropolis, Labyrinth of Memories.
Because
Both.
Necropolis has, or yeah, it was the Labyrinth of Memories. Because the Necropolis, there's save points all over the place. And at that point, even if you're under-leveled, as long as Rita's in the party, you're fine. Although it wasn't on the updated version, it was on the original 360 version. Back where the game wasn't scaled. Well, there was a kind of like a hard plateau, but the Xbox apparently couldn't handle all the content, so they cut out about, I think, 20%, as well as Flynn and Patty as party members. Is it every 3 floors? I thought it was every single floor when you're out in the central area.
Larry, What the hell are you doing?
I just don't ever remember dying in the necropolis. But we were overtuned at that point, outside of the Draco.
Yeah, Patty was not...
Server 3? Okay.
She was not present at all in the Xbox 360 version.
The lighthouse where she stays was present, and they mention Ifreed, but you don't ever actually hear any more than that. And you get Flynn for one fight. But other than that, he just leaves. And he's off doing his own thing. Okay. All right. Well, hopefully, next time we'll be able to get through 5 and 6.
We can only hope.
I'm trying to think if there's some way that I could implement something that would help us with the ghosts, but unless we get starting Magilu with some extra things. But even then, they're casting so fast.
It's like
The
immediately.
reaction time has to be perfect.
It's like literally as soon as they spawn in.
And even if she ends up pilfering, maybe the poison break will give more than Aqua Split, because I don't think I think you have to, that's like this half second that they have to cast, you have to pop it. I'll see what I can do. You got any plans for the remainder of the week, T?
Get better.
Or, sorry, streaming plans.
Writing on Friday, and it'll probably turn into another yapping stream. Hopefully not. But hey, if it does, I'll just roll with it.
They were good times. Last week's was a lot of fun.
Sunday.
Sometimes it's worthwhile to just speak your mind.
Sunday, more Zoo Ranger watch along. Zoo Ranger is like the source for the footage source for Mighty Morphin, but like the stories and characters are like so different.
So are you close to catching up with all the Kamen Rider stuff and everything, or do you still have like a ridiculous amount of series to go through?
Oh, I'm done with all of Kamen Rider. I'm starting to watch Super Sentai stuff, which is like adjacent to Kamen Rider and originally made by the same guy. So there's a lot to go
content
through.
for quite a while.
Yes.
Really good. Alrighty, well, I'll stop by on Friday. But I think I've got a stream on Thursday. I don't know what I'm doing yet, but after that I'll be gone Saturday. So I think maybe I'll be doing something on Sunday, but everything's kind of unknown for the remainder. But once again, thank you for joining in. I hope you have a good night. Hope you have a speedy recovery and a safe trip next week.
Me too. Thank you.
Alrighty. Well, have a good night, and once again, thank you for joining in.
Yep. No problem. All right. Time to find someone to raid so I can go do the dishes, get some medicine, go to sleep. Here we go. And let's see. Who do we have? Hey. My bot working? Yes. Raid 2. Blah, 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 blah. Copy and go raid the... I think I saw Jay. Yep. Jay streaming. She's doing a recap Zatsudan of her trip to Fanime. So good night everyone, and remember to stay prime.